You're welcome to today's broadcast. Sure Destiny TV, reaching people and touching lives.
Hello Nigerians, this is your friend Dr. Haruna Goro. I'm sure you're doing fine. We're all excited. 25th of February is around the corner. Everybody's getting excited, preparing for the upcoming election. I'm sure by now you're getting your PVC ready to go and vote the person that will take Nigeria forward. Why don't you go ahead and share this broadcast so that your friends can also watch it with you? Like the broadcast. By so doing, YouTube and Facebook will recommend it to more viewers. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe now. Thank you very much for joining me in this broadcast today. In today's broadcast, I will be sharing with you a video from a meeting that just took place of the Northern Elders Forum, where they were having an anniversary of the Northern Elders Forum, where the convener, Professor Ango Abdullahi, was addressing the participants. And so we want to just listen to him. There were quite some things that were intriguing. There were quite some things that were interesting. I have my own views and opinions about them. I want to hear you. I also want to get your opinion in the comment section. Let's interact together as we listen to Professor Ango. After that, we're going to be hearing a response from Baba Ahmed Datti. That is the vice presidential candidate for Labour Party, the one that is the running mate to Peter Obi. He was in that meeting. It was a long meeting. A lot of people spoke, and he sat through the meeting, and at the end, Baba Ahmed had to respond. I'll also be sharing that with you.
If you look at the politics of the country, the North has paid its dues, more than paid its dues. If there is any part of this country that has made sacrifice for the unity of this country, and for this country to call itself Nigeria as a country, there is no other section of the country that has contributed as much as Northern Nigeria. None. You can bring any area and debate it, and you find that the North paid more than paid its dues.
You just heard what the Prof said now, that the North has paid its dues. We are all in one nation. This nation is built by the contribution of every part of the nation, north, south, east, and west.
In political terms, this is what now the turbulence in the country politics. The North must not show its face as to who in the next election. The parties were warned that they must not field Northerners as presidential candidates, because it is not the turn of the North to rule again after Buhari. Of course, you can look at it in various ways, legal or political. Certainly not legal. Our law books are very clear, the Constitution is very clear that I can stand election 20 times and I can lose 20 times. But nothing should stop me from contesting election if I want to. But then, when you look at it in terms of, do me, I do you. Rub my back and I rub yours. The North has rubbed more backs than its back being rubbed. Obasanjo couldn't get 10,000 votes in front of his house. I sat with him when he declared, and I told the journalists that spoke to him rudely most of the time, I said he would be president in Nigeria by the votes of Northern Nigeria, and he did. Even there, we got paid back somehow. It wasn't appreciated as such. Who brought Jonathan? The North did. Who voted Abiola? The North did, in my sitting room, to defeat my younger brother, Tova. All these are sacrifices being made by Northerners. And even if you are talking about the years in power from 1999 to date, Obasanjo 8 years, Jonathan 6, 14, Umaru 2, and now Buhari 8, 10. So I've been old even in the pure number of years, 4 years, on those terms. But the issue shouldn't have been we are not qualified to contest. We have no right to contest.
Well, I don't know what is the yardstick Prof is using for this measurement. Did you hear what he just said? He's talking about parties being warned that they should not allow northerners to contest. Well, I think it wasn't a constitutional issue. There was no law that said when a northerner rules, we can't have another president coming again from the north as a successor. It was more of a gentleman agreement. During Obasanjo's regime, his vice president was Yar'Adua. When Yar'Adua took over, his vice president was from the south, specifically south-south, that is Jonathan. We know Yar'Adua of blessed memory died just a few years into his regime. The person that took over from him was his vice, which was President Jonathan. Then Jonathan governed the remaining term of Yar'Adua, then contested for election and came out as the winner of the election. Northerners were not happy. They didn't want him to go for another term after his first term. They said if he goes another term, that would then mean maybe 2 years that he served to finish the term of Yar'Adua added to his 4 years, then another 4 years, that would give him 10 years and even more. So they said, why should a southerner have that kind of number? And that's the reason why there was a teaming up, there was a ganging up or coming together of different political parties, and President Buhari was elected from where? From the north. So it was Jonathan from the south, then President Buhari took over and he is from the north. And the vice president to Buhari was from the south, a Yoruba, that is Professor Osibanjo. So it's not really that it's a constitutional issue. When people are calling, it's not like they're placing a demand. Constitutionally, everybody has a right to do so. But you see, because of the division in Nigeria, along religious lines, along sectional lines, so for peace to reign, that's why this thing about rotation was brought in. Like I was saying, maybe it's just a gentlemanly agreement. Rub my back, I rub your own back. And he said, even when we talk about rubbing back, that the North has rubbed more back of the Southerners than the Southerners have rubbed the back of the Northerners. I don't know how true that is. To me, as a Northerner, we've had more Northerners rule this nation than we have had Southerners. It sounds like Jagaban is not the only kingmaker. Professor Ango Abdullahi has been a kingmaker. Maybe some of us Northerners never knew, but he's revealing it now. That means, what is he basically saying? That President Obasanjo wouldn't have been president if he did not make it happen. So he was virtually the one that made it. And he said it is the Northerners that made it happen. That means the vote of other Nigerians from the south-south, southeast, southwest did not really count. It was Northern vote. That sounds like the narrative that is being perpetuated everywhere, where people think if the Northern votes, the bloc votes, does not come from the North, nobody can make it. And then the rest of the nation is made to look as if they are powerless, they are weak, they are ineffective, their votes don't really count. It's the Northern votes that really count. I don't know how true that is, but it looks as if that's the same game that is being played now. Again, he said the Northerners brought Jonathan. That means you can never be president unless the Northern elders or the Northerners make you president. I don't know what part of the North he's talking about, because there are people in the North that don't feel included in all these things he's talking about. Actually, a lot of Northerners are marginalized. They are pushed to the background, and it's only a few political elites that decide the fate of the people. I'm really just dumbfounded listening to him, and I'm saying, wait, is this how the power brokers have been? They've been deciding for us. It doesn't matter how you vote, who you vote for, they have already decided in the sitting room who is going to be president. From what Prof just said, for you as a Southerner to govern this nation, they have to give it to you. Basically, that's what he's saying. He says the North has made more sacrifices than the rest of the nation, and that the sacrifices have not been appreciated. I believe that Nigerians truly appreciate the sacrifice of every Nigerian, whether you come from the north, south, east, or west, because it takes everybody to build a nation. The building of Nigeria has been the combined effort of all Nigerians, irrespective of religion, tribe, or culture. But Prof is kind of making it look as if without the Northerners, there will be no Nigeria. I don't believe that. Prof, I think there you've blown it. Why talk about the interest of the Northerners? It should be the Nigerian interest. We are not voting a Northern president or a southern president. We are voting for a Nigerian president. So talk to Nigerians. This is what I expect. All this tribalism, sectionalism, talking about our personal interest, the interests of northerners or southerners, does not need to come in. We have had calls by Afenifere, Pandef, Middle Belt, and also the Southeast. They are just saying we need to include the Igbos in the governance of this nation. Because we've had all the other major groups, but we have completely sidelined the Southeasterners, the Igbos especially. And this is what the call is from all the other groups, calling on the northern elders to also cooperate and give the Igbos a chance. They are not saying the constitution says it is now Igbo's turn. They are just saying, since we are one Nigeria, why don't we now accept the Igbos for once? Nigerians, is it too much to ask? I am a northerner from Kaduna State, and I've been calling and calling that we should give Southeasterners a chance. And for once, we've got Peter Obi with Baba Ahmed. Peter Obi is a person that is credible. He is a person of integrity. Many of the people that have been calling that Obi should be allowed to come in, basically they are not saying let's force Obi on people. They are just encouraging Nigerians to vote correctly and stay away from the politics of money bags, where people are bribed or they are coerced, where they use thugs, political thugs, to force people to vote for a particular candidate, or where the election is rigged as in previous years. So basically this is where the call is. In this same meeting of the Northern Elders, where Professor Ango was speaking, inside there, the running mate of Peter Obi, Baba Ahmed, he was there listening to everything. But I'm so happy they gave him some time to respond before the meeting closed. And we're going to watch him. This man is very, very intelligent. I love the way he approached them and how he brought out his point. I want you to listen to him.
I respectfully stand on existing protocols, recognizing our able convener, chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. When you have to speak in such a condensed manner, it is not out of place to bring in Tawheed to your rescue. There's a certain Tawheed I want to bring in. The North, for what we are, deeply religious. I wish to pose that the majesty of Arshil Azim is beyond that pitiable creature will be in need of help and he doesn't get that help. Who is that pitiable human down here on earth? We cannot manage our affairs in Nigeria. And every 4 years, Allah's Rahama is down here. When we see election, we're talking of Allah's Rahama. If you don't like your situation, change it. We cannot touch Allah's Rahama for one key reason, because we don't say the truth. And no institution or organization leads in saying the truth like what we have here today. So Baba, I thank you so much. What is the truth? There are systems that have failed, move them out. There are individuals who have paid, move them out. In fact, Dr. Bugaji, senior colleague, when he said that why should people who stole be given titles, he is correct. But he can even be more correct when he puts it this way. Why should people who stole be given power? Where you see the problem, we see the solution. We have already said it. The enemies, the terrorists, the bandits, the armed robbers, the kidnappers, they are not more formidable than constituted authority. Maitama police station can go and dislodge them. The fact of the matter is that there has never been that political will to do it. Irresponsible governance has been responsible for the situation we're in. Where you see the problem, we see the solution. Our records, our histories have shown we were able to create wealth. We did not derive wealth from government. Logically speaking, we know how to move Nigeria from consumption to production. Again, my senior brother came short of saying production because he's so clever. He says consumption to processing. In fact, you have been reading our mind. We are the ones who will bring an end to this endemic corruption. A governor who served 8 years without borrowing a penny, left behind 75 billion for his state, and refused to sign the law to collect money. Match that with a vice who, when in 2006, They were selling apple houses. Not that the act was wrong, but I disagreed with the principle of repayment. 1 out of 360 refused to buy my humble self. I'll respect your time. The truth of the matter is that we don't say the truth, we don't like the truth, we don't support the truth. And that is why we are not yet able to touch Allah's rahmah by getting the right leaders. Nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. That idea now is that Nigerians have more or less resolved to vote in competence you can trust, characters you know, compassion you can feel, capacity that has been proven. Let's meet at the polling units. Thank you so much.
Did you just hear Datti speak? Very, very intelligent. That should be your next vice president. Remember, he just said, let's meet at the polling unit. So get your PVC, get ready, let's go and vote. Professor Ango just spoke, even though he spoke about the role the North has played, but I want to let you know, Nigerians, it's not just North, South, East, or West, it's Nigeria. We are going to vote for the next president, the president that will move this nation forward. And you ask me, I've been recommending, even though I'm a Northerner, but I'm not advocating for a Northern president. All I want is somebody that can change the current situation in Nigeria. And Nigeria is like in coma, and Nigeria needs to be resuscitated. A new heart needs to be given to Nigeria. And that is only going to happen if we vote a person that is competent, that is credible, a person that has capacity, a person we can trust with this nation, not these political rogues and thieves that have destroyed the nation. How can somebody that destroyed something and come back and tell us, I will mend it? How can somebody that killed something come again and tell us, I will give it life? No, we can't take chances. And I can tell you, we can't trust this old politician. Let's give Peter Obi a chance. So go ahead, get your PVC prepared. Go out on the 25th of February and vote Peter Obi and Baba Ahmed under Labour Party. That is Papa, Mama, Pikin. For a new Nigeria, the Nigeria of our dream, where our children's children will be proud to call Nigeria their home. You will never regret it. Nigerians, let's be patient. Times are tough and they are rough with the fuel shortage and also the challenge with being able to access your money. But let's be patient. It's just a short while, just a few days, and it will be over. Let's pray and trust God to help us. God has been protecting this nation. He's been keeping this nation, and He is still faithful. He will not leave us. We are going to see the birth of a new Nigeria. Thank you for being part of today's broadcast. I look forward to seeing you in my next broadcast. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified anytime I have another broadcast, and also share this broadcast with as many people as you can. Like the broadcast. By so doing, YouTube and Facebook will recommend it to many more viewers. Wow, it was wonderful. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for going through this analysis of this presentation by Professor Ango Abdullahi and the Labour Party Vice Presidential candidate, Baba Ahmed Datti. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you next time. This is your friend and brother, Dr. Haruna Goro. God bless you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye-bye for now.